Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the analysis of YOLENO TV. I hope you're well from wherever you're watching this channel. I'd like us to quickly dive into a video that was shared, a video concerning a statement that Murkomen delivered after the release of the 3 suspects connected with the murder of KYALLO MBOBU. Now, the people who have spoken on X through some reactions have all termed the issue of the arrest on the KANU Secretary General Wainaina as a mere setup, that these people were running from the truth. Now, Murkomen has admitted that
not easy because it was in an area that, unlike the one for Mondowere, which was a bit very fast, it was because the area where the issue happened was around a place where there were no, CCTV cameras. Murkomen, because he's a lawyer, of course, the first thing that comes to mind is to think through whether someone was exerting some revenge or attack by virtue of his professional duties, and of course you look at other motives. So the DCI has interviewed a number of people who are close to him in his workplace, family, and then reviewing.
And according to Murkomen, he's telling us that the case of KYALLO MBOBU's murder is different from the case of Mondowere simply because in this case of KYALLO MBOBU, there was no camera that could easily capture the suspect. So this means this whole thing was well planned, well orchestrated, and the person who is responsible for this murder knew what he was doing. Now, Murkomen has admitted that they cannot easily nab the person who was responsible because of missing cameras. Now, if I may take you to the case of US, remember the same week that KYALLO MBOBU was shot is, I think, the same week that Charlie Kirk was assassinated, that story concerning Charlie shooting, whereby the person who executed the shooting was spotted in a CCTV that was shared by FBI. So a manhunt was launched and he was quickly apprehended. So the person is behind bars. Though, if you go back to that story, we are told that the suspect has not been cooperating with the US authority. I think they're trying to ascertain the motive behind that shooting, because it was one shot and it was successfully executed. But the case of KYALLO MBOBU, 8 bullets, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you who followed the report that was shared by the pathologist, government pathologist, 8 bullets, ladies and gentlemen. So in this analysis, ladies and gentlemen, I want us to focus on the statement from Murkomen. What does it have in terms of the solution to finding who was responsible behind this killing? Because the Law Society of Kenya want to know who is responsible. But Murkomen is saying it is a very difficult task and we can't easily tell who the person is. So this is what we call Murkomen giving up. So before we go further on this story, ladies and gentlemen, can you take this opportunity and support the work we do on this channel by liking this video, and don't forget to subscribe if you're not subscribed before. And to our existing subscribers, I want to continue thanking you so much, because without you, this channel cannot grow. Murkomen's admission has shocked the family, has shocked the LSK fraternity, but has made the killers happy, because now the killers are celebrating the fact that this matter, they well planned it, well executed it, and did not leave any trace. Now, of course, there are CCTVs which have been, the detectives have gone through, especially one where there was someone spotted making a lot of phone calls the moment KYALLO MBOBU left his office. Remember that story we did here about the CCTV, that the person was captured to be making a call around 5:14. but then the execution took place around 15 minutes later, 15 to 20 minutes later. So there was some kind of suspicion that maybe this person was making a call to the shooters on giving information about everything. So to some level, I tend to agree with Murkomen's point that since there were no CCTVs, it is not easy to trace who did that. Like for the case of Ongondowere, in our previous analysis, we said Ongondowere's case ilikuwa successful kidogo, though it has not been concluded, but cameras zilikuwa nyingi. So these people who were planning this murder were very careful. They knew that kuna areas ambazo huyu lawyer upitia na hizo areas hazina CCTV. So what they did, they made sure that that is the area they were going to conduct their own shooting. Now again, they took into consideration the fact that kulikuwa na jam. You see, jam. Most of these people who commit heinous act, they always take advantage of traffic jam, because now when there's traffic jam, hata ukijaribu kumfukuza na gari huwezi kwa sababu this person literally unapata kwamba there's no movement pale. Again, if you look at the story, there's a video we shared about a separate motorcycle that was waiting for the shooter at a separate location. So that is, the vehicles were facing one direction, but on the opposite road there was another motorcycle waiting for this shooter to most likely to exit using that motorcycle. So that is exactly what happened. So that's why you find that tracing this person inakuwa kazi ngumu. And that's why for those of you who are following our video that time, we talked about possibility of having multiple bodabodas. Rather, let's just say, because I understand what a bodaboda wamejama, wamesema hii bodaboda jina isitumike. So let's just say possibility of having many motorcycles that are tracing this person. You see, the idea was to try to confuse the detectives so that kusiwe ni bodaboda moja tu. When they are trying to look at these bodabodas, wapate kama ni bodaboda karibu 5 heading towards the same direction, but kumbe zote are on to the same target. Because if it's one bodaboda, then it's very easy to trace it. You will simply trace it for the time iliingia ikatoka. But if they're like 5 bodabodas, or rather 5 motorcycles headed towards the same direction, then you'll not be able to tell which is which one carried the suspect, which one carried, those kind of questions, ladies and gentlemen. So what is happening here is that Murkomen has openly admitted difficulty. See, with the case of activist Charlie Kirk, the one I was just giving you a story about, the US shooting, we are told, based on Utah government, Spencer Cox. Spencer says that the accused gunman who was arrested, Tyler Robinson, who is, I believe, 22 years old, who will be formally charged on Tuesday. So he's going to be charged on Tuesday. But again, something that you need to note here is that this person was quickly arrested because a CCTV had captured him at a very high building when he was after the shooting. He quickly left that place. So detectives went through cameras and was in the area. Now they managed to get him. So what has it that his father is the one who asked him to give up, to give in to the police, and simply because if at all he did not, the police would have maybe launched some manhunt of him on him na labda angekuwa shot in that some kind of fierce exchange. But having himself, surrender to the authority, ilimsaidia. But I understand that he's not talking, he's not saying a word. But so, just as much as that is happening, with our Kenyan case, it's a bit different. That's the main reason why I think Murkomen amegusia ile swala la CCTV ilikuwa faa iwe ile area. Mimi naona sijui kwa nini serikali haijaweka CCTV area zile ambazo zina mambo ya jam nyingi. Zile area za jam nyingi zinafaa ziwe na CCTV, kwa sababu hizo ndio area ambapo mugging, robberies do take place, those places. So I think the government did not prioritize such a area, otherwise tungekuwa ni rahisi sana kupata huyu mtu. Like kwa sababu wale walifu walijua hiyo area haina CCTV, walikuwa washa certain area kwamba ni area ambayo iko na kama ka blackout hivi, hakuna CCTV. So hiyo ni area ambayo walikuwa wanajua kwamba watafanya ile maajabu yao. So that's why wakafanya ile maajabu pale. So ladies and gentlemen, allow me to rest my case there, but just go below in the comment section and tell us what do you think about the statement coming from Murkomen. Do you think the family should still have hopes if Murkomen, the CS for Interior Secretary, has said ni ngumu? So perhaps if you're watching this video and you've not subscribed, take 1 second and subscribe, like this video. Until you catch up again, stay safe and stay blessed.
Thank you once again for choosing YOLENO TV as your favorite political channel.